What's happening with Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX is nothing short of unbelievable. This guy convinced some of the most high-profile investors on the planet to invest in his company. Now, why did he get these investors to invest in his company? Was it an attractive investment opportunity? Yes. Was it an investment opportunity that could have potentially been one of the greatest crypto investments of all time? Yes. But also, what if you just pay some investors to invest in your company? Kevin O'Leary, one of the original hosts on Shark Tank, usually is one of the hardest guys to invest in your company because he cares a lot about valuation and he cares a lot about getting a deal that usually includes some type of royalty financing in order for him to get the best deal out of all the sharks. He is quite literally a shark on Shark Tank. But when it comes to Sam Bankman-Fried, everything that has happened with the collapse of FTX, he has basically said, look, it's not his fault, and he thinks that whatever happened, happened, but at the end of the day, Sam Bankman-Fried is not the total one to blame. It's not completely in his wrongdoing. And today we might finally know why. Apparently, Kevin O'Leary not only invested in FTX, but was paid to be an investor in FTX. And we're going to learn a little bit straight from the horse's mouth how this is happening, why this is happening, and ultimately what this means long-term for the crypto industry. Let's get into what Kevin O'Leary had to say.
I want to understand how much money you lost in the contract, but I also want to understand how the investment and this ambassadorship happened. At the time that it happened, you did disclose it, but I want to understand how you went from calling crypto garbage at one point, as you know, to deciding that this was something that you were going to stand behind.
Yes, I recall that conversation, calling it garbage, right here on this show in 2017. That was a time when a New York hotel was being tokenized here, and I was looking at that, and the regulator let me know they were not happy with that idea. And that's when I stepped away from this, because clearly the regulatory environment was not prepared. Then facts changed. I saw the Canadians issue the first ETF with Bitcoin as underlying, Ethereum, then Switzerland opened up, then Australia opened up. And then I said, wait a second, world's changing, I got to be an investor. And that started my journey. I'm an investor in the largest regulated exchange in Canada, called WonderFi. The wallets are called BitBuy. We're regulated by the OSC. I have my accounts up there. Right. But I felt that getting involved when I was approached with Sam Bankman-Fried, that I could get an inside seat on what was considered then. And I got to tell you, the institutional interest in FTX on the U.S. equity was unbelievable. The amount of people that approached me saying, how do I get a piece of this deal? And I said at that time, I am a paid spokesperson. I cannot bring you as an LP. Not a single dollar that I lost is anybody else's money except mine. That's important for me because that's an issue.
How much were you paid?
Total deal was just under $15 million, all in, including a bunch of agents that I had to pay because I needed SAG-AFTRA release to be able to do commercials for it, and when I did that. I put about $9.7 million into crypto. I think that's what I've lost. It's all at zero. I don't know because my account got scraped a couple of weeks ago. All the data, all the coins, everything.
So let's talk about that for a little bit. Obviously, that's a big reason for Kevin O'Leary to invest. Again, he was a guy who called crypto trash in 2017. So what changed? Well, his mind changed as he saw more investment opportunities in the crypto space, and he ultimately became a very crypto bull over the past couple of years and has been someone who has been advocating for cryptocurrency. He is more anti-government. Crypto is more generically libertarian. One could say it's an anarchist form of currency, something that is decentralized and can't be controlled. So it philosophically does speak to him, but originally he thought it was BS. Once you start realizing, wait, you can make an investment in this, probably get a return on your capital, and get paid for doing that, that's where you get the opportunity of jumping in. Now, why is this the case? FTX issued an FTT token. This is something that Coinbase hasn't done, which is why Coinbase, I think, is actually one of the ones that might survive the crypto winter and might be one of the legit winners in the crypto race when this is all said and done. These tokens are just used to collateralize the random money that you create out of nowhere. Creating the FTT token or the BNB token from Binance, whatever it is, or you know, the Shiba Diba Ding Dong coin, as Sean, who's a friend of the channel, likes to call it, Shiba Inu. Like, these tokens go to nothing. When Squid Game came out, there's a Squid Game token that went up 2,000% in 2 days and went right back down to zero. And so these tokens are made out of nothing. Anyone can create them. And if you have some type of collateral backing or use those tokens as collateral to back your assets, then there might be some way for someone to be convinced that they should use your platform. And this is essentially the scheme that not only Kevin O'Leary, but Sequoia and BlackRock and a lot of the major financial institutions of the world got excited about when it came to FTX, particularly because, as Kevin O'Leary will explain, it was one of the only exchanges in the US that had the level of magnitude outside of Coinbase, because Coinbase was already public and a lot of investors missed out on Coinbase, that investors had an opportunity to be able to invest in. The rest of them are in unregulated parts of the world and that aren't American companies. And now, obviously, FTX never had to deal with American rules, even though they were in the United States. But that's why the opportunity was attracted to Kevin. And once you get paid to do commercials for them, it's another great opportunity because you're like, hey, I get to invest and I get to pump this thing and I get paid to pump this thing. And now you can see why he would be excited to invest in the company.
So then I lost the money I invested in the equity as well. Those are zeros too. It was not a good investment, Andrew, okay? I don't make great investments all the time. Luckily, I make more good ones than bad ones, but that was a bad one.
Okay, let me ask you this, though. When you made this arrangement, this is back in August 10th, 2021, you said the following. You said, to find crypto investment opportunities that met my own rigorous standards, that was your phrase, of compliance, I entered into this relationship with FTX. It has some of the best crypto exchange offerings I've seen on the market.
Yes.
Given that you were the spokesman and ambassador for this company,
yes, because
what kind of diligence did you do around this issue of compliance, given where we sit today?
I obviously know all the institutional investors in this deal. We all look like idiots. Let's put that on the table, okay? We relied on each other's due diligence, but we also relied on another investment theme that I felt drove a lot of interest in FTX. Sam Bankman-Fried is an American. His parents are American compliance lawyers. There were no other American large exchanges to invest in if you wanted to invest in crypto as an infrastructure play. So many of us said, wait a second, who's coming to this deal? We knew, for example,
this sounds like
Tiger.
This sounds like groupthink.
Did
you know there was no CFO?
Look, at the end of the day, to say that there was no CFO is also a bit of a falsehood. This was a nascent industry with a disruptor at its helm, creating positions that didn't have traditional names, okay? That's just the way it was. In retrospect, yes, it's a mistake. However, I feel obliged at this point to go to the end of this, particularly...
What does that mean?
It means that I need to find where the money went. I'm going to start with my own journey, with my own account. Bankman-Fried reached out to me last Saturday, and I said, look, Sam, I am just one investor, but my account has a zero in it, and there are no accounting records. Where did the money go? And to the extent you can help me, tell me, point me in the direction, because I will, on behalf of every other shareholder, go find where this money is. The next day we talked for over an hour, and he walked me through his scenario, and I learned a lot.
Now, so
sorry?
What did you learn?
I learned, first of all, I said, what was the large drawdown of your capital? Where did the cash go? One of the biggest uses of cash was to buy back his shares from Binance, which owns 20% of his exchange. And the reason he had to do that, according to him, was that every time they applied for a license anywhere, the Know Your Client got jammed up with Binance, where the ownership is opaque. And he had to buy it back. That cost him a lot, a couple of $1 billion.
But do you think that he was taking customer funds to do that?
Yeah. Did he take that money from customers to get it?
Well, the only way to answer that question, and I told him, and he agreed. I said, look, Sam, you start this journey with me, and wherever the chips fall, that's on you. Because, we're talking about this. I'm going to pursue it. I agreed last night when Pat Toomey called me to sit on that committee next week. I will be a witness there.
You plan to testify?
I've agreed to testify. He called me last night around 8 o'clock. I agreed to testify. I've spent a lot of my time on the Hill.
All right, there you go. That is what we got. Look, at the end of the day, Kevin O'Leary did exactly what other investors did. They saw this as an infrastructure play for crypto, and they decided that the more money they can get out of this from a selfish perspective, which maybe you can blame them, maybe you can't, the better the investment opportunity is at the expense of due diligence. Now, no due diligence process is always perfect. Due diligence is just the process by which you look at an investment opportunity and you try to come up with all of the reasons why it could go good, why it could go bad. Not everything's going to be perfect. There's going to be some things you don't know, but to not know that a company that's you're investing at a $32 billion valuation has no CFO. I mean, this is not a small little company. This is a company that is managing billions of dollars of customer funds that are trading in and every day. And you're saying there's no CFO? I mean, yes, there's a disruptive nature to the company. Yes, crypto is decentralized, but there should be a CFO, my guy. Like, so at that level, it is an incredible thing to witness that one of the biggest sharks that goes for every minute detail about your company when you're pitching him really does not care about even your company having a CFO. And, it brings up a larger question about, did Sam Bankman-Fried commit fraud knowingly? And this story is ongoing. We're going to see if there was a lot of malicious intent to what he was trying to do. But at the end of the day, if he did do that, and Kevin O'Leary, high-profile investor, is basically covering for him and saying, look, the kid made a mistake, blah, 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 there could be an argument that he's trying to save himself because he invested in a fraud potentially knowingly, and I don't think Kevin O'Leary did that. I don't think that's his intent. But this story, this idea that he just made a mistake and that customer funds magically disappeared out of nowhere, and that, Binance sold off the token, which crushed the whole thing, but that they were in that position in the first place, and like, why was that happening? To assume that was all a mistake is a little bit elementary to me, and I think there might be a little bit more deeper thoughts to the story. What are your thoughts on Kevin O'Leary, one of the high-profile investors of the world, basically saying, I made a little mistake, I didn't do my due diligence, I don't care, I got paid to pump this thing, and now it's gone? Because, the reputation, I don't know if $15 million, which is what he ultimately put in, was enough for his reputation. I mean, there's a lot of investment opportunities. Are you going to take Kevin O'Leary's money if you have a startup? I don't know. Maybe I have a startup, but like, it makes me a little bit more hesitant now to know that the guy just invests in random crypto companies simply because he thinks that without having a CFO, they might do better. I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day, we'll see what happens. Let me know your thoughts and comments. Thank you so much for listening, watching, and what do you think is going to happen to SBF as this story unfolds? I'll see you in the next one.